Enjoy 1% merchant commission when you accept Lanka Pay cards. Contact these banks today.
Welcome to Times Online. Today we have Mr. Rajitha Kariyawasan, Managing Director of Haycarb PLC. Welcome, Mr. Kariyawasan. To start off with, Mr. Kariyawasan, you are in a very unique and specific industry. Could you please explain about this?
Duruthu, we are in a very interesting industry called activated carbon. Activated carbon industry has many different products based on the raw material that it starts with. For example, coal is used as one raw material for activated carbon, then wood, and the other one is the coconut shell. So Haycarb is primarily involved in the activated carbon market that deals with coconut shell charcoal as a raw material. So the product that we make, we call coconut shell based activated carbon. So this industry has a significant growth potential because of its applications. Its main applications are in the water and air purification. As you can see, all these areas globally is growing areas where there is significant pollution, where there is significant interest in the goal due to current uncertainties. The requirement of the solutions to purify is growing every day. And the environmental standards adopted by the countries worldwide is also becoming more stringent. So as a result, the need for activated carbon globally is increasing. So in that sense, we consider activated carbon industry is a one which has great potential.
As we are aware, the past 2 years have been challenging for all industries in general due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing economic crisis. How did you navigate this?
Like many other export industries in Sri Lanka, our industry also went through significant challenges. Firstly, with the COVID-19 pandemic, and then the economic downturn that followed in Sri Lanka. So firstly, on the facing the COVID-19 challenge, Haycarb, I must say, as well as our entire group, Haley's family, did extremely well by having very good contingency plans to ensure the supply chain is intact, and also, the most importantly, the people who are working for us are well protected and taken care of during that period. So there were many initiatives that Haycarb PLC did during that period. One being to ensure the raw material supply of ours, which is the coconut shell and coconut shell charcoal, is intact during this period. Secondly, the communication with our customers are transparent and upfront, informed about the challenges and the situation. Then also managing the shipping of the activated carbon worldwide was a significant challenge. And lastly, taking care of the people, applying the correct safety standards in the companies, managing the health and hygiene in our operations to protect our people out of that crisis, and supporting our employees during that period, all were very important parts of our contingency plan. So with proper management practices, proper responses, proper communication being in place in our global operations, we have been able to successfully handle the COVID-19 crisis. In fact, Haycarb was commended by our international buyers worldwide as one company who did not disrupt any of its orders during that entire pandemic period. So we are very proud of that. Secondly, on the economic crisis, yes, we faced significant challenges to overcome. One advantage we had was we were a foreign exchange earner to the country, a significant one. So the government also considered export businesses as priorities. So that helped us a lot in managing the crisis. Secondly, ensuring mostly the energy mainly on the fuel availability for operations in Sri Lanka was a big challenge. So with additional storages immediately built for fuel, multiple sourcing of fuel through CPC, through the Lanka IOC, and also the private channels of fuel that was available was another significant step that we did in that direction. Then thirdly, on the electricity interruptions that came about, we were fully fledged with continuous running generators which could handle very significant, very long power cuts during that period. So that was another factor. And lastly, having our employees ready to meet that crisis, giving employees a lot of relief during this period in terms of their income streams, in terms of other facilities like transport, meals, and a lot of assistance during this crisis, which is still ongoing, was also a key factor of our success in meeting this challenge up to now.
Mr. Kariyawasan, I'm just curious how you manage the supply chains in the pandemic, rather during the pandemic.
One strategy we adopted was right throughout, even before the pandemic, we carried significant levels of inventory of coconut charcoal and coconut shells. We had a policy in any country that you operate to keep at least 3 months inventory of our raw material. So this initially helped us a lot until we get all our other matters sorted out. We had enough buffer stocks of raw material to carry on. Then we very closely worked with our supply chain, that is our suppliers. If you take Sri Lanka, during this entire period, we worked very closely, we helped them. During the economic crisis, we went to the extent of even providing fuel to our charcoal suppliers. So we advanced the fuel and we deducted the money on that fuel subsequently. So which was a major thing where a lot of our suppliers were finding it extremely difficult to find fuel during that period. Then also the support that we extend to our employees to ensure that they can come to our factories with our own transport. We provided enhanced meals facilities during that period so that people are given such relief so that they can overcome at least part of the economic challenge that through the company facilities was also a major factor during that period.
Mr. Kariyawasan, I understand that sourcing your raw material, which is the charcoal, through coconut shells is very challenging. How do you manage this challenge?
This is a very relevant question again to our industry. So Haycarb, over the 50 years of our operation, since we started in 1973, we have adopted many strategies to overcome. Now one was to locate our manufacturing facilities. Part of our manufacturing facilities overseas was one strategy, because we could not expand continuously only relying on Sri Lanka. So when there was a certain cap at which further charcoal is not feasible for us to source locally and also to import together, we expanded our manufacturing footprint in Thailand and Indonesia. As we speak, 50% of our capacity in Sri Lanka and balance 50% is overseas. Then for the 50% in Sri Lanka, which has also significantly grown over the period, we have worked tremendously, very closely with the Coconut Development Authority and our suppliers in order to propagate the charcoal making industry in Sri Lanka. For an example, if you take the coconut shells that are coming into the raw material market, close to 40% come from the industry, which is primarily in the coconut triangle. That has been the traditional source of raw material available to us. So balance 50 to 60% in Sri Lanka is used domestically for consumption. That is the use of coconuts. So we have worked during the last 10 years a very aggressive front to bring these domestic shells into the market. We have done that by introducing a program called Haritangara, which is green charcoal, where we encourage the entrepreneurship building in Sri Lanka. We assist the people, entrepreneurs, to build close pit charcoal in the area that they can collect coconut shells. We provide the designs, we also provide the technical assistance and in certain cases financial assistance to build these. So once, when this program was started about 5 years ago, and up to now we have propagated this in every district in Sri Lanka, and there are over 350 such pits built, which help to regularize the industry, make the coconut charcoal in an environmental friendly manner with approval from the CDA as well as the CEA, and also to build on a large base of entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka, which in turn brought majority of the coconut shells that is going as waste into the supply stream. So with this initiative, we have been able to increase the overall charcoal production in Sri Lanka, which in turn benefited us to secure a portion of it. Then still there is a shortfall. That shortfall has been met through importation of charcoal, and we import only if what is available in Sri Lanka is not enough.
Mr. Kariyawasan, Haycarb PLC is celebrating 50 years this year. During the past half a century, how has your company grown?
It has been an exciting journey with a lot of challenges and also a lot of successes. Haycarb has adopted a unique strategy in terms of our growth. That is a strategy of growth based on innovation. We wanted to go up in the coconut carbon value chain. I'm very proud to say that Haycarb is one of the few global manufacturers of coconut carbon today who are in the highest strata of the value chain. That is, in the highest levels of reputed water purification applications, air applications, and introducing new products into up and coming important segments like energy storage. Haycarb is one of the few companies in the world who have successfully commercialized supercapacitor carbons to the energy storage industry, which is used in some of the most critical applications globally as the anode material for the supercapacitors. We are also now in the process of developing a hard carbon for the sodium-ion battery technology, which is coming as an alternative to lithium-ion batteries. So this is again one of the great potentials. If we are successful in this development, that has great potential and will be a great value addition. So the innovation-driven growth by more and more value addition has been one key success factor in meeting this challenge. And the second aspect has been our focus on the environment. We are driving ESG as a large contributor to the Haley's family. We are one of the companies who are concentrating on sustainability aspect very, very rigorously. We adopt the triple bottom line principle, that is planet, profit, and people. And there, the environmental pillar is a major thing, starting from making the raw material in an environmentally friendly manner, having our manufacturing processes to basically use the lowest possible carbon footprint, and then also latching with applications and products that are helping to purify the world. I think Haycarb is in the forefront of sustainability in this industry. So that has also been a major success with our customers globally of how we have fast-tracked, how we have been a leader in the sustainable story globally in the active carbon market.
Mr. Kariyawasan, is Haycarb PLC only one of a kind in Sri Lanka? Do you have industry competition?
We have industry competition. We have many other active carbon players in Sri Lanka, including one of the other largest manufacturers globally. So it is very much a competing industry. But what we have made sure is our technology, our value addition processes, our lean manufacturing, our sustainability, our new product introductions are at the top notch and one of the best in the world. So by continuously investing in R&D, in technology, in the environmental standards, and also empowering people and developing leadership capability within our group, we have been able to be one of the best and one of the most innovative coconut carbon manufacturers globally.
Mr. Kariyawasan, could you explain the new product lines that you're developing?
Now, one of the most value-adding industries that we are entering now is in the energy storage. In the area of, as I mentioned earlier, the supercapacitors, we started this journey about 10 years ago, but we really accelerated our investments in this field, both R&D as well as building manufacturing capacity in Sri Lanka for anode material for supercapacitors during the last 5 to 6 years. So this is primarily used as an anode material for a supercapacitor. Supercapacitors are high power energy devices that are adopted in many applications, like in the wind turbines, in the transportation systems, in start-stop engines in the automobile industry, and coconut carbon plays a key role by one of the unique anode materials. There are only very few companies in the world who has this technology and capability to consistently manufacture this product. I'm very proud to say that Haycarb has become one. And the second one, we are a very interesting industry we are working is on developing a hard carbon for the sodium-ion battery industry. Sodium-ion batteries are an upcoming energy storage technology to basically supplement, I would say, to the lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion batteries have long-term challenges of certain critical raw materials like lithium, cobalt being sourced. So sodium-ion technology makes use of the what you call the normal salt in the process, and it is a more abundantly available material. In this battery technology, the anode is a hard carbon. So we are in the process of developing coconut shell-based hard carbon as the anode material. The R&D and the pilot manufacturing is taking place now, and we believe if we can cross the technical challenges of this particular high-end application, it can be a very successful value addition to our portfolio in the future.
Could you please explain about your raw materials?
Yes. Our basic raw material is the coconut shell. Just to illustrate, we have basically a coconut is cut into half, is shown here. So in a coconut, the outermost layer is what you call the husk. And this husk is used to generate a lot of coconut fibers, and Helix is involved in the fiber industry as well. Then next what you have is what you normally call as the coconut after dehusking. So that is what you find here is as the shell. This is coconut shell is very commonly known in Sri Lanka. These are kind of pieces of shells, and it is this outer layer. So this is the outer layer of the coconut shell, which is our primary raw material. And basically this coconut shell is burnt in under controlled conditions to make our key raw material, which is the charcoal. Then this charcoal, when its coconut shell is burnt, you make something called the coconut charcoal. It is under controlled burning of the shells you make. These are our key raw material. And this is what we use to manufacture our carbon. And in this process, what we do is we basically, under controlled conditions, with the presence of steam on very long kilns, we subject it to very high temperature, and then we create pores in this charcoal. And then we make what we call our product, which is the activated carbon. The main feature of this product is the surface area. If you take 1 spoon of this activated carbon, it has an equivalent surface area close to a football field, which is not there in the shell or in the charcoal. So this is the basically the technology, primary technology, what you call activation, where you create a very large surface area, which can in turn absorb a lot of impurities, provide a lot of additional electrical energy on the if you look at on the supercapacitor side. In the case of gold extraction, it can facilitate the orocyanide to be absorbed into the pores. So that creation is pores, micropores, and many other different pore structures is what you do as a product. But once this is a black material, because of its relevance, we call it even the black gold. But there are a lot of different technologies you have to adapt to suit different applications. Say, the activated carbon we use in water purification has different properties. What is used in air has different properties. What is used in energy storage in the batteries or supercaps has totally different properties. So that is our technology. How to optimize, how to make different surface properties in this activated carbon, how to purify this to have lowest possible contaminants inside the activated carbon. All those are technologies that we have mastered. And then the sizing of this, from a large granular to very fine powders. When you look at the supercap anode material, it is in the microns, very controls particle size distribution. So those are also significant technologies that we adopt in this activated carbon industry to meet the requirements of different applications.
Mr. Kariyawasan, this is fascinating indeed. So how do you drive economic contribution through your export earnings?
Yes, mainly it's basically adoption of different technologies to be as much possible different value-added segments as possible. So as I mentioned earlier, say when you take water application, that is one of the largest. But in that water, there are so many different segments in that market. Say one of the highest end markets are what you call point of use water, which is basically the active carbon that goes to the cartridges of water filters. And in there are certain specialities. There are certain, for example, if you take the US market, there is a very specific requirement what you call removal of chloramine. Because in the US water purification municipality system, instead of chlorine, they use chloramine to purify the water. Now, that creates a problem in the taste in the beverage applications and many other industries of water. So we have developed very specific carbons to remove those chloramines out of the water, and out of that very high capacity carbons with the highest levels of chloramine removal capacity. So those are very niche but very high value adding segments with highest possible technologies that you can think of in this industry. So that is going to these niches of value addition, and specializing is one key area to drive the maximum economic value out of this industry. Mm-hmm. Similarly, in the case of air, we are using many impregnation carbons. That is, we impregnate certain chemicals into our carbon so that it will have selective absorption of certain harmful gases that can be used in very industrial situations where hazardous gases are there, even in the military applications where the military will face certain hazardous conditions. So those are called selective absorption. For that, you need to have your different technology and master in the impregnation technologies of carbon. So those are two examples, apart from the energy story that I mentioned, to go into these highest value add niches and apply the technology, applying our innovation capability of 50 years in order to drive the maximum economic value of a scarce resource of coconut shells we have.
Finally, Mr. Kariyawasan, where do you want your company to be in the medium term? What is your vision for the company?
Yes, our vision to continually grow and stay within the top 3 of the coconut carbon manufacturers globally. In the race globally with major economic powers is not an easy task. But myself and my team, with the support and blessing of the Haley's board, I have the fullest support to make this happen. During the last 50 years, we have done so many things to reinvent this industry and to become one of the highest value-added manufacturers in this industry. This requires for us to continually expand our manufacturing footprint, continuously add technology, and be one of the highest in the world. So my vision is to ensure that for the next generations in Sri Lanka, where the economic value of bringing more and more export earnings to the country is becoming of paramount importance, I want to ensure that Haycarb remains and go into further heights as a unique industry, a unique company which took a product and a brand to the global market and has been able to be one of the top global brands among many today, to bring not only the economic value but Sri Lanka's name in the global map. And we call it, the Haycarb brand has taken the Sri Lanka, the pearl of the Indian Ocean, to a paramount place in the active carbon industry. So I hope I'll be successful.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.